Hey, Zax.
So we're back at it again, and this time we're going to talk about episode 3, Kindlesticks.
Uh-huh.
So the quick summary is it is about a very, very bad babysitter.
Uh-huh. And
And,
she learns her lesson.
or does she?
She does.
You said that was going to be our thing,
Yeah, but I was gonna say it.
but you didn't.
You didn't set me
get-
up for it, so I just didn't do it.
Oh.
I
well,
figured
did
you
it.
forget. You forgot. Whatever. I want to say this about... I want to get this out of the way right now. I think of the 3 episodes we've seen from this season so far, I don't remember the other ones that well, but this is the best of the 3. And I think the reason we can... I think we can place the blame for that squarely on the fact that it's very generic. It's like a really boilerplate sort of plot line.
Yeah.
I didn't expect like the premise of the episode and the way it goes is very Goosebumps rather than anything interesting.
Yeah,
So,
I do think.
So
with-
like you they didn't have room to screw it up. Basically.
Yeah. I definitely feel like with the first 2, the other ones we saw, they were trying a lot more. They were a little more adventurous, a little more risky.
Yeah, especially with like the premise, right? Like
Yeah, just
AI phone, that's not something that's been done to death. And then
Yeah.
like I mean, it kind of has been done to death at this point, but like the not necessarily by children's shows, and then like
and not
a
necessarily
puppet
with the
who
phone
takes
falling
control of
for
the
you.
parents is like kind of a slightly different take on the learn, you don't know what you've got till it's gone lesson thing, right?
Yeah, like
Slightly
it's-
different take.
But this, okay, so we'll just jump into it. So it opens up with the curious. Obviously, he doesn't do anything interesting, but they're like, meet Esme, the world's worst babysitter, and we see her in front of the door, and she's like practicing, and she's like, I live to babysit. No, I live to babysit. Yeah, that, like, she's practicing like the way she'll say it,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird. Even if you haven't done this before, like, that's a weird thing, I think, to practice.
Like,
Like-
I'm trying to think what would the parents' conversation be that would lead to this. Like, hey, we've got to get going. The emergency numbers are on the fridge. Feel free to help yourself to anything inside there. Kid needs to be in bed by, let's say their cool parents, 10. Yeah, so we're gonna get going. See ya.
I live to babysit.
Oh, okay. That, maybe I think maybe we'll just stay in tonight, actually. You can go home.
But I live for this.
Yeah, that made me feel very uncomfortable leaving my child with you, though.
Don't blow this for me.
I need this.
Okay, so so she's like, I live to babysit, and there's twin girls, and their moms are leaving, and they're just like, okay, great.
It was just like
everyone recommend.
like, I guess that's kind of neat. They've got like representation. They've got a pair of moms leaving in the beginning, and I was like, oh, all right. They didn't draw attention to it, which is, I guess, nice. You know what I will say though?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish those parent actors had been the parents of the main kid, not for representation reasons, but because they were better actors than the parents of the main kid. Because this kid that we're seeing, or these twins, they're just like a prologue thing.
Yeah. So basically, what happened? Yeah, no, I agree. These were better actors than the moms. So,
But they say the
she
usual
hasn't
thing,
been-
just like, hey, our kids, bedtime at blah 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 and all that.
Yeah. So she where were we? Oh yeah, okay. So she hasn't even been in the house 5 seconds, and she's like, "Okay, kids, go to bed." And it's like maybe 8 o'clock.
Yeah, like the parents literally just left for whatever they were gonna do.
Yeah, and so then they're like, "No, we can't. We don't wanna," which is like reasonable because like,
Yeah,
one, I don't know you. I'm not gonna listen to you yet. You haven't earned me listening to you.
Well, actually,
Two,
now that I think about it, she later says that like the twins are her favorite kids to sit for, so it's like kind of implies that she's seen them. She's met them before.
but do we? I don't.
But
Was
like,
there a time?
if that's true, then
Hmm.
I don't know. The rest of this episode doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, as we go through, there's a few continuity errors that they just first draft script for sure.
Yeah.
Like it just reeks of that. But like so they're like, "No, we don't want to go to bed, and you can't make us."
Yeah.
And then
two
she's
very
like,
sassy twins.
"Yeah, they're so cute. They really are."
They remind me of you.
Shut up.
Because they're small.
I know.
Okay, I wanted to be clear.
Anyway, she's like, "Well, Night Night Man doesn't like it if you don't go to bed." And they're like, "Night Night Man?" And then she's like, "Yeah." What?
Your acting
you
there was so... Oh.
You liked it?
You really went for it there.
I did. I liked it. Okay, so they're like that.
Yeah, they're like the night man. Like they're real scared, and she's like she elaborates. She's got a cell phone
biting.
light. Yeah, she's got a cell phone light shining from below her, below her chin, and she's saying the night man gets really angry if little kids don't go to bed, and then you'll know he's coming because you'll hear a knock at the window 3 times. And then they hear a knock at the window, and it goes 1, 2, 3, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's him! Get the hell out of here! You got save
yourselves!"
She's like,
the only way to get him out of here is if you go to bed.
Yeah, and so then like you see the door opens, and it's like a dude in a ghillie suit, like made of grass or whatever, coming in, going roar, and they're like, "Ah!" And they run upstairs, and like as soon as their foot leaves frame. She's like, "Easy as pie," and the guy in the ghillie suit starts taking off his mask because this was apparently like a thing she had set up. But I'm like, the kids aren't like they're not deaf. Like they'll hear you around the corner upstairs, right? Like they haven't even gotten to their rooms yet.
But what's also weird too, though, is it's like because like we later find out that he comes in the same getup every time. So if she's babysat the twins before. Don't they just know the drill by now? Like, what is this a new story? If like the ending is always the same monster guy.
I have a feeling that I have no idea actually. Either way, the guy takes off the mask. He's like, "This is the last time I'm doing this," and I'm not doing an impression. Like I'm not doing a goofy voice. This is my impression of his voice. Because this is the way he talks. He goes.
He literally talks like a girl making a boy voice.
Like, can you do your impression of him?
Yeah, I just talk like this.
That's pretty much spot on. Yeah.
It really sounds like a girl making fun of a boy, like a generic.
I'm
like
trying to do this is me trying to do a masculine voice, but I don't know how to do it.
And so
I don't know if that's a voice the actor is putting on, or if he just talks like that. I really hope he doesn't talk like that. I apologize if he does, but it sounds terrible, and they should have cast someone else.
Because he's supposed to be a jerk, and he sounds like a jerk. So,
but
it's
also distracting. It's also very distracting.
It is distracting.
Because he's a side character, and he shouldn't distract from the story this way.
But can I just say, though, he was my favorite character.
I'm trying to think if No. I think our main character is probably my favorite character.
So, like, if we're being serious, yeah. But I think I just was like he.
Actually, no. You know what? No, he's my favorite character. Yeah, he is my favorite character because she's pathetic.
Like at least he knows what he is, and he's fine with it. Like,
Well,
so
except that I think the character is probably gay, and doesn't want to admit it or doesn't recognize it.
I don't think so because like we disagree on this.
Either
but,
the
like,
character or the actor. My gaydar was going off like crazy, and I'm never wrong. I don't mean in the gaydar front. I mean ever. Okay. In any context.
Okay. So, after the girls are frightened and traumatized in their beds, they're downstairs eating food, and she like tries to sit next to him, and he like scooches.
Our main
over
character's
a
name
little
is
bit.
Esme, by the way. I don't know if we ever mentioned that, but Esme and Chazz are, the babysitter and the guy who she invited
The
over.
fact that his name is Chazz kind of makes me think that it was a voice he decided to put on. Because isn't that what a Chazz sounds like?
I actually knew a Chazz in middle school and high school. He didn't sound like that. He was a very cool dude. I actually saw him again fairly recently. He's a really cool dude, but I will say he's the outlier. He's definitely not the majority of Chazzes.
Okay.
He recognizes that Chazz is a name that you have to wear either like that, like, oh, this is me, I'm Chazz, or you have to be actually really cool. The Chazz I knew, like, in second grade, he cut off part of his middle finger accidentally, and he didn't cry. I had other people attest to that story. Which kind of scares me, actually.
Chazz is
He's a cool dude. It still is. He's not dead. I should hang out with him sometime. Anyways, so Chazz and Esme are downstairs hanging out. And by hanging out, I mean Esme is like looking at him like with these F me eyes while he's just looking at his phone.
texting Patty Domingo or whatever.
Some made up name. And she's like, you're not texting her. And he's like, oh, I'm with you, aren't I? Don't get weird. And I'm like, you gay, dude. You hella gay.
See, I don't think that's gay. I think that he's going to have an affair with that girl.
No. An affair implies that they're together. And the way that the two of them interact in this does not indicate that they are at all together.
I mean, she's definitely under the impression that they are, though.
She's under the impression that she's got a shot, at least. But I don't think she has a shot at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think any woman has a shot because he's gay. It doesn't matter. He's such a side character. It doesn't matter. Either way, he's ignoring her and texting this other girl. And we never see that other girl. It doesn't really matter. Either way, so she says, hey, I've got another gig. I think she said it's this Friday night or Saturday night or something, at the Thorn House at the end of the road. Big house. They have an account at Zuko's. That means as much pizza as you can eat. Like all the pizza you can eat. And we're like, oh, what kind of family has an account at a pizza place? That sounds wild.
That sounds like you're a mob family.
I don't even know what it means to have an account at a restaurant. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, because even if you have a tab, that's still
which
not
is
as much
still
pizza.
weird, but not as weird as having an account.
But there's still, I imagine, a cap on how much pizza you can eat because they still have to pay for the pizza.
I mean, well, that's just it. Either they mean they have an online account, you can just sign in at pizzahut.com, that kind of thing, which would be not that interesting. Those accounts are free. But, the alternative is, somehow, having this account gives them access to unlimited pizza? And I don't know what pizza place is going to deliver unlimited pizza to you.
Of the mob.
I don't think the mob would do that. I think if you were part of the mob, you'd have to run the mob in order to get pizza delivered to you as much as you want. Because at the end of the day, if you're even second in command at the mob, somebody's gonna go hey, come on, Big Tony's gonna be really mad about how much we're driving around delivering pizza for you. Right? Like, I mean, I don't want to, like, I'm not saying that I don't have a problem with you eating so much pizza. My problem is that I don't want to get capped by Big Tony when he finds out how much pizza we're comping for you. And fair. Gas bills and, like, auto repair. Like, what if we break down on the way? What am I supposed to say to Big Tony? I got a flat tire carrying 600 pizzas. You know, I was just holding this for a friend. Like, what? What does that mean?
So, she promises to feed Chazz, and he's like, ooh, I'm coming, but it's the last time I'm wearing this because of my grass allergy.
Yeah, he says he has a grass allergy, which makes me wonder why he made a ghillie suit out of actual grass. Like, that's not how a ghillie suit is made.
But you could also just go to Party City and just get, like, a Wolfman mask.
Yeah, get literally any costume. Why did you make this thing?
Yeah. But anyway.
I mean, you're trying to fool small children who were fooled by your dumb grass costume, so, like...
Yeah, you could upgrade the costume.
Yeah, you don't have to smear yourself in dirt and grass in order to scare children.
If she made it.
I mean, I don't really know or care. Somebody made it and wasted their time. And honestly, even the people for the TV show didn't waste their time, because it's all fake grass on set, so it, like, why did they claim that it was real grass? It's a first draft problem. Anyways, so this is all leading up to, they don't even show us the rest of the night. Instead, we see it cuts to the Thorn House, and instead of trying to, like, fade to black and say, like, later that week or something like that, in order to get us to the Thorn House and let us know that it's the Thorn House, for the first time in the show, and I don't know if they ever do this again in the show, they certainly don't do it in the rest of the episode, we just see in big letters on screen, the Thorn House, which is, like, possibly the laziest way you can show where, if you need a place name on screen, you didn't write it well. You didn't write your TV show, or, like, if I wanted words, if I wanted to have to read to know where we were, I would read a book.
What also is weird to me, though, is it doesn't really matter that it's the Thorn House, because...
Well, they just want to tell us that it's later that week, which they could have said with a time card that said later that week, although that would also have been lazy.
But what I'm saying is I don't even think that's necessary, because we know she's a babysitter. We know she already said when her next babysitting gig is.
I mean, they have to transition. They have to transition out of the twin scene, right? Like, they have to transition out of that house.
But what I'm trying to say is, if you let me finish, jeez, is that we see her talking to a new set of parents.
Yeah, no, I think you still need to establish that that other thing is over. You can't just start a new thing without...
It's a new house. It doesn't look like the old house.
You can't just start a new thing. I'm literally saying, you can't start a new thing without ending the old one. Otherwise, you just got, like... I mean... Some idiot out there might think, oh, she just goes and double books and then, like, ditches this house to go to another house. Like, which is, she's already a terrible babysitter. She could theoretically do that.
I mean, but she said, it's my next gig. She said, I got another gig. Like,
That doesn't mean you get to... No.
But she told us when it is.
No. You gotta have a beginning and a middle and an end to, like, a scene. They barely have an ending to the scene. All they did for an ending was musical cue and the words on screen.
Anyway, we'll just agree to disagree on that one. So...
Alright, I'm the only one who's actually tried to make a movie here, so...
Whatever.
Dab. I said tried. I didn't say I was good at it.
So, she sees the parents, and they're like, yeah, our little Ashley's sick, and she's probably going to sleep all night.
Yeah, so have
so
fun.
You won't hear a peep.
It's a real nice house.
And then as soon as they leave, she's like headed for the fridge to get herself something to eat, and the music gets real funky.
Oh my
Fresh.
gosh, it's so funky. I felt like I was at like a George Clinton concert. Like, it was so funky. I was like getting my groove on, and she goes to the fridge, and at this point, both of us were wondering why she wasn't just ordering pizza, because they clearly stated that she has as much pizza as she wants from Zuko's. They said that earlier. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you've got an account, use the account. Anyways, she opens the fridge, and they do that thing where she opens the fridge, and it's like a side view, a profile view, so she's reaching into the fridge. You see some stuff in there like lemon lime, which is like the best soda. And then she closes it, and what do you know? There's the kid standing behind the fridge door, like, oh, spook.
Little, like, fox onesie?
Yeah, and like a big onesie, which is, I don't know what that animal is supposed to be. But some kind of, like an orange onesie, which... Okay, I got a question for you. I've never worn a onesie in my life. I've never wanted to. I don't think I've ever been in the same room as someone wearing a onesie.
Okay.
Do people wear onesies to sleep?
You can. I've worn a onesie to sleep.
Okay, knowing that you have that's priceless. But also, I feel like it would be very, very warm.
It is. It's great for winter.
Oh no, I don't like that. I don't do that. I no. I'm trying to get rid of body heat when I go to sleep. That I've never ever felt like I was cold while I was asleep.
You put the heater on ever?
Always.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like, I turn it off in the winter so that I don't bake in my home. I just like it cold. I like it like ice cold.
Wow.
Sometimes I just drench myself in water and stand in my walk-in freezer. I have a walk-in freezer so that I can store the body parts. So they don't go bad. Your silence means you're judging me, and I don't like that.
Well, took a few cues from the Marty episode. Okay, so she's making some food, and then this kid is like, "Hey, I want some ice cream." No, you already brushed your teeth, kid, so you can't have any ice cream.
Which
What?
I don't really like that logic, because it's like it's not like you have a limited number of toothbrushings before you die. Just brush your teeth
But
again.
what I also don't understand is why she just refuses to just be cool. Like,
no.
Like, Chazz isn't going to touch you. I mean, maybe they'd say something to their parents.
Chazz is barely even going to look at you, Esme.
But what?
So,
okay,
like...
What I'm saying is, he asked for ice cream. Yeah, here's a bowl of ice cream. I'm having a friend over. Make yourself scarce. Okay. When I ask for more ice cream, give it to me, and we won't have any problems, lady.
Yeah.
But, so like, I don't see why that wasn't an option.
Like a tit for tat, like, I'm a cool babysitter if you're gonna be a cool kid.
Yeah. Like, if you're not down for that or whatever, like, but she doesn't even try with these.
Yeah, she doesn't even attempt it. She just says, no, you can't have any ice cream, which I guess is probably better for the kid, but...
Like, most kids, like, are pretty reasonable or whatever. Like, I've never really done, like, that type of babysitting before, but, like, I don't...
Yeah, do
like,
people do that still?
I don't think so.
Like, I mean, I guess the market must exist, right? Like, I don't have any kids, I don't know.
I mean, I
like,
know there's care.
People still need to leave the house to like go do stuff
like,
without their kids, and they still need babysitters. I just don't know if the hiring process is the same.
Yeah, I don't think so, because like in my experience, like when I was a teenager, like my brother, like my parents' friends had kids my younger brother's age, and like they'd be like, "Hey, are you doing anything tonight? We wanted to do this. Could you watch them?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, whatever." And then they would just be at my house while I watched
to hang out with their friends.
Yeah.
You know, so brothers' friends come over and the parents get a night out. You know?
Or like or
vice
grandparents versa. Or aunts, like
Yeah.
I
don't
don't
know.
really
I
know
don't
anybody who like I guess, but like nannying, like
see,
my
like,
friends,
my
like
parents hired a nanny for us because my aunts and uncles and grandparents are all like far, far away, right? So like
hmm
we didn't have anybody like, to do that. But like occasionally we would just hang out at a friend's house. I never had a nanny or a baby, like we never had a babysitter who was like a neighborhood, like a high
kid.
schooler at all, right? Like our nanny was always like an adult,
Yeah. I
someone
mean,
who like usually it was like somebody who was like capable of like cleaning the house too. The only reason they weren't a maid was because they didn't do it all the time.
yeah.
It was like a one night thing.
Yeah. And anyway,
Yeah, I don't know.
so yeah, whatever. So she doesn't even try to watch these kids, and then like she goes straight into her whole, well, the night man's gonna come for you, and she does the whole stick, and he's like, goo goo goes what, and then but like he's like not
Yeah,
really
and the
that
guy,
like
what's his name? Chazz comes over and he's got the thing and he's coming out the window, knock, knock, knock.
the kid starts
he comes in.
laughing,
Yeah,
hysterically, because she's like, oh good, you got any more people out there?
Yeah, that was a good goof. Tell me another story. And she's like,
'Cause, like,
dang it, I was really hoping you would just fall for that.
because the
And-
twins were like, I'm so bad at guessing school
Yeah, I'm
age, kids'
terrible at-
ages. But I want to
They
say,
were very,
like,
very young.
yeah, maybe 6 years old.
Yeah.
So that's fine. This kid, I feel like he's like at least 10. So why would he believe this?
Yeah.
So that's that. But then Chazz takes his thing off immediately. He's like, "What, you're not terrified of me?" And then the kid's like, "Whatever. I want ice cream." And they're like, "Well, you're not going to get any, so just go to your room." And which I'm like, if that was an option, why did you need to do the ruse?
I don't.
Because if you're just going to be like, okay, I couldn't frighten you, I'm just going to yell at you so you go away.
Yeah. Well, then Ashley says, the kid says that Esme shouldn't be mean. Just like, Kindlesticks doesn't like it when you're mean. And like, Esme's like, what the hell are you talking about? And Chazz makes fun of. Chazz steps up. He's like, oh, is Kindlesticks your imaginary friend? Again, this is his actual voice. That's not me doing a goof. That's just his voice. And yeah, he says Kindlesticks isn't my imaginary friend because Kindlesticks is real, and Kindlesticks is standing right next to him. And then for some reason, Chazz goes, like he's scared for a second, which is like, why are you so dumb?
Because he's Chazz, apparently.
You're such a dummy. Like, and so, the kid says he's not always invisible, something. It doesn't matter. Basically, the kid starts saying, like, Kindlesticks is real. And Esme sends the kid to bed. And so, then, again, Chazz is sitting there.
Oh, if you look at, they have a bunch of food out.
Yeah, they're watching a horror movie, and there's, like, a ton of food on the table, none of which is pizza.
They did have pizza.
Oh, that's right, they did have pizza. There was a little bit of pizza.
Yeah.
But not as much as they could eat.
They had 2 personal pans, it looked like.
That is not as much as they could eat. Because there's also a crap load of other food.
They had a good sandwich, though.
Oh my god, that sandwich looked so good. Like, I don't know what the prop department... Props to the prop department, because that sandwich looked like an absolute snack. I ordered food on Grubhub before we watched this episode, and I still want, instead of what I ordered, I want that very bland, but incredibly tasty looking sandwich.
Yeah.
It was like a white bread and like ham and cheese, and that's it. And I'm like, that looks real good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so things start going extremely boring for Esme, because she's like looking at Chazz like, oh, maybe things will happen, and nothing happens because Chazz is not interested in you, girl. Give it up. You are not getting any of that. She's not.
Yeah. Okay, so then like he's like, I felt a flick on my ear or whatever.
Yeah, stop flicking my ear. Ugh. And she's like, I'm not flicking your ear. What are you talking about? It's like,
and then he's like, wait, did you take a bite of my sandwich? And I'm like, honestly though, like let's forget the fact that I'm not even interested in you. If I was a little bit interested in you, if you took a bite of that sandwich when it's mine, you're done.
excuse me.
I'm going back to the fact.
Well, can I just say,
like
I actually
that
disagree.
sandwich.
I disagree with you because if I, and for the same reason actually as your reasoning, I just have a different approach. If I saw that bite was missing from that sandwich and I like looked at you and I was like, did you just take a bite of my sandwich? On one hand, I'm like kind of affronted that you wouldn't ask. On the other hand, I'm like, I kind of get it. That sandwich looks choice, right? Like,
it's a good sandwich.
I mean, like, I'm like,
I
can't really hold it against you because, like, I don't know that I wouldn't do the same.
This is just
like, it's a good sandwich.
It was a real now I just want the sandwich.
And I think honestly, I feel like if they turned the lights up on set and we'd gotten a better look at the sandwich, like it would have been on screen longer, I don't think we'd be as enamored with the sandwich.
No, but because it was just a little
dim, like it, like I can just, it's like such comfort, like, you know how they say like, it's like a grandma used to make, or like, you know, like food that's supposed to warm your spirits, like comfort food. I don't think any comfort food has ever compared to the feeling that I imagine I would have sitting in the dark eating this one lonely, boring sandwich. It doesn't look interesting even. I just want it in my face. It's a good looking sandwich. Anyways, so after that, she's like, no, of course I didn't eat the food. I was sitting right here and you were looking at me. How would I eat the sandwich?
So then she's like, ugh, that dumb kid. So she runs off to get him and then...
Which is like, I don't understand how that happens either. The sandwich is in front of both of you. How would a child sneak downstairs in front of you, take a bite of a sandwich that's on a plate in front of you, and then sneak back upstairs? That's even less believable than her reaching over and doing it.
But also, his onesie has, like, long fox ears. So, it's not just like he's small and you wouldn't notice. He's, like, almost your size.
Yeah, the kid's huge. Like, he's not a small child. He's not huge, but he's, like, he's normal child size. So, like
he's prepubescent.
Like, if you've ever seen a child, that's the size he is.
Okay.
So the audience has a sense. I want you to close your eyes and imagine a 10-year-old. That's how big this 10-year-old is.
Yes, there's
to help them visualize.
They're all the same size. Just we all are the same size.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this I'm gonna like kind of speed a little bit. So spooky stuff starts happening. Lights are flickering. The piano's playing by itself, and
the word Kindlesticks appears on a wall, written in large white letters.
And Chazz is like, "What house did you bring me to?" And he literally pushes her against the wall and books it. He
books it like a librarian straight out of there, and it's it's the last we ever see of him, and it's a beautiful coup de grace to his character.
So now and like we said, this is like generic Goosebumps stuff. Nothing particularly like visually like new or interesting happening. She's just like Kindlesticks is moving around stuff. It's
there's like decorative plates on the wall. They fall to the floor. There's like a little moai head thing, like a little sculpture. It falls over.
At some point,
like,
though,
typical Goosebumpsy stuff.
Yeah. At one point, though, Kindlesticks basically he's still invisible at this point. We never see him, and he like sort of bams her phone like from this wall to that wall.
Oh,
just sort of slapping it around, and then
so it's clear. He's like she's like worried about Kindlesticks. She's like, what does Kindlesticks want? And Ashley, the kid, says like, Kindlesticks wants you to play. And she's like, what if I don't want to play? And he's like, Kindlesticks wants you to be nice. It's like, but I am nice. And like Kindlesticks like causes the lights to go out at that point. And so like the two of them run upstairs. She runs upstairs and she's like bringing Ashley along. Ashley does not seem that perturbed, honestly. And then like, Ashley's like, what are you gonna do? And Esme's like dialing 911, Before she can even call 911, her phone flies out of her hand and smacks against the wall. And we get a good look at the phone screen where we see like her text message log with Chazz. And this is one of the reasons that I think he's like, I mean, this is again heavy evidence that he is not into her at all. You see her text log with him, and it's like 4 messages of her, no response from him, and the first one's like, hello, and then the next one's like, Chazz, and then it's like, hey, and then like, Chazz, babe, no response, ever, at all. And I'm like, you ain't getting any, hun. Like, this is not happening for you. You need to give up. But then, like, Kindlesticks sends him a message that says, like, good riddance, loser. And then throws her phone around. And it's like, oh, great. I was so invested in this plot of her trying to get laid.
Yeah,
Like, why would I care?
Yeah, so at one point, okay, they keep terrorizing her and stuff. And
Spooks, ah!
they're like, at one point, they're like hiding behind a shutter door closet. And Ashley gets taken away.
Hang on, you're forgetting something actually. Because after scaring Chazz away, and after sending the insulting text to him, it shows pictures of the children that Esme babysits.
Right.
And they're all crying, and they're all the pictures of the kids are crying, and like Kindlesticks is showing this to Esme and Ashley's like, Kindlesticks doesn't usually go this far. Like, why is he hate you so much? Is it because you're a mean babysitter? And she's like, I'm not mean. I'm normal. I'm cool. I'm a good babysitter. And like, obviously, it's a lie because she's not a good babysitter.
Right.
Yeah. And so they end up, they end up hiding in a closet, and they've got these. They do that thing that you see this in horror movies a lot, where they've got like a closet where the closet door has like shutter windows. And I've never seen that in real life. Like, ever, in any home. Maybe that's, like, more common than I realize. But, like, I've never, ever seen that in a house that I've been to.
Yeah, I don't...
So, shrug emoji, I guess.
Yeah. So... they're hiding in the thing, and then Kindlesticks grabs Ashley. She's like, no, give him back to me. She's like running through the halls and stuff, and then we hear the kid's voice, and he's like, Kindlesticks says you're mean. And she's like, what do you want me to say? And finally, she just, like, I forget. They go back and forth a bit, but she finally realizes what she has to say, which is, like, the truth. And she's like, I'm a terrible babysitter. I'm selfish. I'm sorry. And then it looks like Kindlesticks is coming towards her because we just see, like, these flashing lights, like, those little, that look like eyes kind of thing.
Yeah.
Coming towards
very
her.
Spooky.
And she's like, no. But then, like, the lights all come on. And we just see the kid in his little onesie holding some little, like laser pointers.
Yeah. 2 little red laser pointers pointed at her. Which, by the way, I gotta say, bad call, kid. Don't shine laser pointers at people's eyes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, that's basically assault with a class 3 laser weapon. Like, chill. Okay? You could blind somebody. Like, cool.
Yeah, so then she's like, wow, kid, you got me. And then, like, we time skip a little bit. She's got some ice cream, and then she's, like, cleaning up, and he's like, you want some help? And she's like, no, I got it. You've done enough tonight. Just get on to bed.
Yeah, which is, like, insane because of the amount of damage that's been done.
Yeah. But, which is also weird, too, because then, like, he starts to leave, but then he comes back and he gives her a big hug, and she's like, oh, kid, you're sweet. All right. And then we time skip some more. The house looks nice. And she's talking to the parents, and she's like, how was Zuko's? But before we get into, like, the answer, because that's its own mini rant.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say this really quick before we get into that. How long was this dinner? Because, okay, how long does it take to, like, sneak in your boyfriend and, like, get order a bunch of food, get terrorized by a
Yeah,
monster,
wow, yeah,
clean the house.
Oh my lord, yeah, it must have been forever. They must have been gone for a while. And then she cleans it all up.
Yeah, the cleanup alone, I imagine, would take minimum 2 hours, and that's being like super
and of
unrealistic.
course, there's also the fact that half the crap that was thrown around got broken. So like, you're either hiding that or like, you're very. I mean, you must have charisma out the wazoo to explain that like 7 vases got broken while you were here. But don't worry, your daughter's safe. Like.
And then, okay, so they don't care about that timing issue but maybe we can pretend they did dinner and a movie, which is a pretty standard
they did
day,
dinner and the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're back. Director's cut, of course.
Yeah, director's cut. It's like 7 hours of film. They're back at 3 a.m.
Yeah. So then she's like, how was Zuko's? Now remember, they have an account at Zuko's.
And they said okay, so the words they said were, if I remember correctly, they have an account at Zuko's, all the pizza you can eat.
Right.
And
so
so
it is an Italian restaurant.
that seems to imply that Zuko's is the reason why they would have all the pizza they can eat.
And Zuko's, and it's a place they're familiar with. They've at least been there once.
They've been there. They're familiar with it, and also that that Esme and her guy she wishes she was dating, the two of them could have, they could have ordered from there. But then when the parents come home and the girl Esme says, "How was Zuko's?" and she was like, "Wow, what did she say?" She says like.
How was Zuko's? And then the mom responds, "Oh, it was wonderful. Your mom was spot on about the gelato."
Yeah. And
which
indicates you've never been there, but also that what?
Like Esme's mom recommended Zuko's to you, which is weird because then at that point it seems like your family has the account at Zuko's, Esme, but you don't because you didn't order a bunch of pizza the last time, and you just told Chazz about it like this was a new thing.
And I'll say this too. Let's say they do have an account at Zuko's, and they didn't just screw this up. And I think when the first line that they wrote earlier in the script, Zuko's is supposed to be a pretty not that classy pizza place.
Yeah.
Where you can just order a bunch of pizza and have it delivered to your house. Because a classy pizza place is not going to take an order of 12 pizzas. That's ridiculous. It takes time to make a good pizza. So, this is basically a local pizza place, which is a step above Papa John's. So, right. That's the first time. Now, Zuko's appears to be some kind of high-class Italian place because they're dressed very nicely, and they went out to dinner, and it has gelato, which is not, a thing you can just... that's a thing a fancy restaurant would have. So, obviously, I think they changed halfway through. They forgot that they established that Zuko's was this pizza place. And this I think might be... this is pretty crazy on its own. Maybe Zuko's is a pizza place where you can order a lot of food and a fancy Italian place. And them having an account means you can order, but then the people in there aren't going to think, that's weird. 2 different people are using this account right now.
Yeah.
Someone's ordering pizza at their house and they're here using their account.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Either way, she says a bunch of Italian, which I have a feeling was the actor showing off, right? Oh, I know some Italian. I can just say that it was great in Italian. And they were like, "Yeah, sure," but it's was that necessary? No.
Yeah,
Either way, so they get home and they're like, how was Ashley? And so then
She was like, "Oh, it was great."
Esme's like, "Oh, Ashley was great," and then they like go to the room and they like open the door and you see they look in and Ashley's asleep and you see the covers are over Ashley's head so you can't see, and Mom says, "Wow, Ashley sleeping like a baby, like even through the storm, wow," and like Esme's like, "Yeah, and it's like, yeah, she was really sick, so I'm glad everything went well." And then Esme's like, "Wait, she?" And like the it's supposed to be a big reveal because the kid who she's been hanging out with all this time, who we've been calling Ashley, was a boy. And that's supposed to be it's supposed to be a big reveal that, she looks at a picture and their kid is some other kid. And the kid that she was taking care of, who was talking about Kindlesticks, was someone else. And then she like runs to the top of the stairs and looks down. And there's the kid in the onesie who's looking up at her with red eyes. And it's implied that he's Kindlesticks. And
well, it's not implied because the mom comes out and they show us she doesn't see anything. And she's like, "Esme, what are you looking at?" And she's like, "Kindlesticks."
Kindlesticks. But like, I remember the first time we watched this, the reveal wasn't that great to us because like the boy they got us to play Kindlesticks is actually like sort of gender ambiguous.
Because, like, yeah, his hair's covered.
His hair's covered the whole time, and his
like,
voice
he's a child,
is very...
so his voice isn't, like, super distinct.
Very neutral. Way. It could... Like, when she said she's sleeping nicely, I thought, like, okay. Like, whatever. Yeah. Knowing the twist was coming, because I've seen this episode before, I could see, the kid is more, like, male. But specifically the wardrobe that they picked, and... Like, there were no gender signifiers on this kid at all. So, like...
So when they made a big deal...
Like, I'm not saying the gender signifiers are everything, but if that's the way your twist is set up, you better have some damn gender signifiers. Otherwise, your twist is just gonna fall through.
Because it's weird, because it's almost like they did it on purpose. Like, they wanted him to be gender neutral, so that we would be like, wait, what's her problem? And then when we see the kid, like, oh, he was a boy? Which is weird because then it's not, because, like, they want you to be like, wait, it was a boy? But I was just like, oh, okay, so she was watching, I get the goof. So, like, he was the monster all along. Like, all right.
But, like, also...
So they kind of dragged out the reveal to, like, her running to the stairs and stuff. But it was just like, no, I got it as soon as she was like, wait, she. Because realistically... If they hadn't, like, the parents hadn't said the name, and, like, she was just like, okay, so, like, you're Johnny, and then they come home and they're like, Bruce. I'd be like, oh, okay, so that wasn't the kid. The kid was just asleep and she was watching the mom. They could have done anything. They just happened to go with the gender because that was easiest.
I don't think they intended us to be confused by this. Like, I think
I wasn't confused.
I mean, like, I don't think they wanted the kid to be gender neutral. I think they wanted the kid to be obviously male so that the reveal would happen. Because otherwise, we're talking about, like, we're supposed to side with the main character and, like, be... Like, we're supposed to be able to be surprised at the same time that the main character is surprised. And instead, we're, like... We're experiencing, it's not even irony that we're experiencing. It's just, like, we're just confused because, like, she's making an assumption about the kid's gender. She's saying, like, we're seeing this kid and thinking, could go boy or girl or whatever. Like, right? Like, totally neutral. Right. But she is looking at the kid and assuming male. And we're not getting that. And we didn't even get that through the whole episode till that point. So, like, if they had maybe had a conversation where Esme and well, I mean, honestly, it's not even important that they have a firm establishment of it. It's just bad costume design. And I think the reason that they have the kid, who we know now is Kindlesticks, in the onesie is because it's supposed to be sort of like sort of akin to a monster, right? Like ears, non-human, that kind of thing. But like it doesn't do anything special.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, who does Chazz text in this episode?
He texts Patty D'Amico or whatever.
No. Patty Peterson.
What?
Yeah, he's texting Patty Peterson.
No way.
Yeah.
What? The girl from Slapstick.
Apparently, the bully from Slapstick.
But she's British.
Okay, I'm gonna just check the wiki. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's right there in the trivia. Esme asks if Chazz is texting Patty Peterson, a character who appears in Slapstick. And apparently Zuko's Pizza is mentioned in Marty, but I missed that. And then the last piece of trivia on here is actually something that we noticed when we were watching, which was that Ashley's house is on Elm Street, which is probably a reference to Nightmare on Elm Street. But like, does it matter?
Yeah. No, it does not matter.
Either way, at the end of the episode, we see the Curious again.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like this one because there's a trash can covering the Curious's legs, but there's still like a full coat above the trash can tall, which to this point the Curious has been like child size, and I'm pretty sure this one is like an adult, and I don't like that.
Right.
I don't like adult Curious.
No.
He stinks. I don't like him.
Yeah. No, that's... Yeah, no, I don't like him either.
Okay, so what do you think about the episode overall? I gave my overarching thoughts at the very beginning, but I want to hear yours.
Overall, like, I think that the episode was fine. It was pretty, like, not my Marty's still my favorite because Marty was the most entertaining to me still.
Okay.
It kind of dragged at parts. Like, I didn't, like I said, like, Chad's my favorite or whatever, but I didn't really care about him. I didn't really care about this dumb kid. I didn't really care about the twin. I didn't care about anybody. I was just kind of watching it. So it was like, yeah. But, like, then when just the things, like, that we talked about that make no sense because it's, like, a first draft script stood out. But other than that, so far, like, this has been the most boring, but also the most, I won't say competent, because, like, I don't know. Like, because the other two, Marty and Slapstick, were kind of insane. But I feel like they told the story that they wanted to tell. It was just insane. This one, they had a generic story they wanted to tell, and they were just bad at it.
Yeah, okay, so I think from the perspective of, like, entertainment, I think Marty was more entertaining than this one because, like, Judgy is just such a character. But this one was of the three that we've talked about, this one I think was the most competently made. The actors in it were generally the best of the three, and, like, the set design was fine, and, like, you know, the worst actor in it was probably Chazz. I mean, you could say, like, the kids, but, like, I'm not throwing them on the same scale as the adults, you know? But I do want to mention something that is only occurring to me now that I'm looking at the wiki. Kindlesticks is actually episode 9 of the first season.
Oh, they just did a different release order on Netflix?
I guess on Netflix they have a completely different release order, which I don't like. But if you're following along, for some reason, if you're following along, we're going through it on the order that they are on Netflix. So season 1 starts with Marty and then goes to Slapstick and then goes to Kindlesticks. And then after that is Bravery Badge, and I have no idea what order they were originally.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter because, like, again, this is an anthology series,
Sure.
so yeah, we're
The
fine.
only thing that it kind of matters with is callbacks, like the Patty Peterson thing, which makes me wonder, Slapstick is supposed to be the first episode. What a bad opening. Honestly.
Well, maybe that's why Netflix was like, "Nah, we're gonna start with Marty. We're gonna go
okay.
hard."
What was Marty? Marty was the 4th episode.
Interesting.
I want to know what the original order was.
Okay. Well, as we do each episode, we'll tell you where it was supposed to be originally.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we covered everything in this episode. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bye.
Bye.